Today we're going to do a suspended scalloped edge cast on, which is accomplished over 6 rows. Let's get started. I'm using markers, stitch markers. You don't have to, but they help. The first row I'm going to describe, and I'll repeat the pattern twice. Okay? So it's slip 1, knit, place a marker, knit 7, slip 1 with yarn in the back, place the marker, and you're going to repeat that. Knit 7, and slip 1. I usually like to place a marker on the right side just so I can keep track of where that is. Okay, so row 2 is a wrong side. We want to slip 1, knit 7, with yarn in the front, you want to slip 1, knit 7, and the last stitch on the row is going to be a slip 1. Those first 2 rows are pretty easy. Slip 1. Although row 3 is going to start making the scallops. Again, we're doing a slip 1. You're going to knit 7, but this time you're going to knit with a double wrap, meaning instead of coming back and picking up your yarn once, you wrap it twice and pull through. Again, double wrap, pull through, double wrap, pull through. And if you were a thrower, English style, you would do the same thing. You'd wrap it twice and pull through. Oops. Double wrap. Double wrap. And now we're to the slip stitch. So we're going to slip 1 with the yarn in the back. Again, back to the double wraps. This is the second scallop we're making. We're at the end of the row, and we're just going to slip 1. Row 4 is the big row. We're going to knit 1, and we're going to turn. We're going to knit cast on 3 stitches into the one that we just knitted. So we're going to do a knit cast on. You do a knit stitch like that, and you put it on the needle. So I've cast on 2 stitches so far, and I'm going to cast on the 3rd one. So it's the original stitch, cast on 3, and now we're going to temporarily move these scallop stitches over to the left hand needle, and when we pull them, we're going to let that second wrap just drop right off. We want to keep 7 stitches, not 14. So let's just slide them over there using your needle tips point to point so you don't change their orientation. Okay, and now put them all 7 back to the right hand needle. There we go. You can do them one at a time too if you want to. Now you're going to turn your work again, and now you're going to purl 7 together. So we're going to come in here, grab all 7 loops, make a purl out of it, and pull through. I'm going to show that again to you, but now we're going to turn our work again, and we're going to do a knitted cast on into that top of that scallop. We're going to cast on 3 stitches. So like before, we knit 1, we knit 2, and we knit 3. Okay. We're going to turn our work around again. We're going to slip the marker, and we're going to purl that stitch, which is the slipped one. Now let's practice that part again. We've just purled the slip stitch. We're going to turn the work around, and we're going to cast on 3 stitches into it, or next to it. 2, 3. There you go. We're going to release the double wrap by moving all those stitches over to the left hand needle. And 1 more. There. We're going to slide them all back onto the right hand needle. Okay. Turning our work around. We're going to purl 7 together, and if you have trouble with this, the technique I use is I use this needle tip and I ride it on the base, on the bottom edge of my left hand needle, and just guide it so it's always touching. That way the yarn can't slip off. If that made sense. Okay, turn our work around. We're going to cast on 3 using that stitch we just did, the purl 7 together. Beautiful. Turn our work around again, slip the marker, or slip it off. And we're going to knit this stitch instead of purling it. You'll be happy to know that row 5, we're back on the right side of our work. Row 5 is just a plain knit row. These will be a little awkward to knit because most of them are cast on stitches, so just deal with it and you'll be done with it at the end of this row. And I go ahead and drop off the stitch markers at this point because the only reason we really had those, although you don't have to have them, is for row 4 to try and keep track. Because between the stitch markers, and I didn't show you that, but when you get done with one of those scallops, you can count the stitches between the markers and you'll see that you have 8 stitches, and you know you did all that turning and casting on correctly. And row 6, which is the end of this, is just a purl row. And you are done with this cast on, and now you can continue in whatever pattern you're using. go, and I can show you in just a second. There we go. What this little beauty looks like. You can take the marker off the front. So now you know where you are. And there are your little scallops. Aren't those pretty? So other than that one row, which is a little bit of a murder, it's nothing to it. And that's it. Thank you.